Japanese motorcycle dealerships are in full-on panic mode, practically begging you to take these bikes off their hands. From cruisers that missed the mark to hybrids that left everyone confused, these 7 models just could not find their audience. You will not believe which bike tops the list. Number 7. Honda Fury. When Honda introduced the Fury, it aimed to make a bold statement in factory chopper design, delivering a custom chopper experience straight from the dealership. With stretched forks, an extreme feet-forward stance, and an unmistakable silhouette, it promised all the rebellious attitude without the hassle of garage-built modifications. The Fury's angular lines, scalloped fuel tank, and exposed frame rails made it look like a rolling piece of artwork. Riders were drawn to its radical aesthetic, hoping it would embody the spirit of an outlaw bike while maintaining Honda's legendary reliability. Under the tank, the Fury houses a liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a displacement of 1,300 cubic centimeters, producing approximately 57 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. Weighing 663 pounds, the Fury features a braking system with a single front disc and a rear disc brake, both of which are adequate for casual cruising but feel underwhelming during emergency stops. The suspension setup prioritizes aesthetics over comfort, resulting in a jarring ride on uneven pavement. Despite moving smoothly at low speeds, the long wheelbase and high handlebars make handling tight corners awkward. The stretch stance that looks so striking on the showroom floor translates to uncomfortable riding dynamics, especially on winding back roads. The low-slung seat height adds to the chopper vibe, but does little to alleviate backstrain during longer rides. Despite its aggressive design, the Fury's performance is far from thrilling. Its slow acceleration and cumbersome handling don't align with the outlaw persona it attempts to project. On smooth urban roads, it holds its own, but once it hits uneven terrain, the bike's limitations become apparent. For many buyers, the reality didn't live up to the promise, and the bike's popularity faded quickly. In comparison, the Yamaha Bolt offers a more balanced approach to cruiser riding, with mid-controls and smoother power delivery, while the Harley-Davidson Sportster 52 delivers more authentic cruiser character along with a robust aftermarket scene. These models offer a more practical blend of style and function, whereas the Fury remains stuck between being a chopper and a comfortable cruiser. Despite being marketed as a factory-built outlaw machine, the Fury lacks the raw edge that truly defines the genre. It ends up being more of a visual statement than a rider's dream, appealing to those who value looks over performance. As time passed, riders realized that the Fury's bark was louder than its bite, leaving dealerships with rows of these flashy, yet impractical bikes. Moving from factory choppers to cruisers that couldn't keep up with the times, our next bike tried to blend nostalgia with comfort, but it just didn't work. If you're still here after hearing about these dealer nightmares, you gotta admit, we did the legwork. Seriously, we spent hours digging into why these bikes aren't moving. Now just hit that subscribe button. Fair trade. Number 6. Yamaha V Star 1100. When Yamaha launched the V Star 1100, it aimed to capture the spirit of classic American cruisers while offering the renowned reliability that the brand is known for. With its sweeping fenders, wide handlebars, and teardrop fuel tank, the V Star 1100 looked like the perfect blend of vintage style and practical design. The upright riding position and low seat height made it feel approachable, while the long, low stance gave it a commanding road presence. The V Star 1100 is powered by an air-cooled V-twin engine with a displacement of 1,063 cubic centimeters, producing approximately 62 horsepower and 62 pound-feet of torque. This engine configuration delivers a steady and predictable power curve, making it suitable for relaxed cruising. The bike's braking system consists of a dual front disc and a rear disc brake, which provide adequate stopping power, but lack the precision and bite of more modern setups. The suspension is a conventional telescopic front fork and a dual shock rear setup, which prioritizes comfort but struggles to handle rough surfaces, especially under load. Weighing approximately 630 pounds, the V Star 1100 offers stability at cruising speeds, but feels sluggish in tight traffic or when making quick maneuvers. Despite its appealing aesthetics and approachable riding stance, the V Star 1100 has developed a reputation for being high maintenance. One of the biggest drawbacks is the engine's valve adjustment interval. Owners are often frustrated to learn that the valves need inspection every 4,000 miles, a task that requires removing the exhaust system and air cleaner, which makes it labor-intensive and time-consuming. For many riders, this frequent maintenance schedule is a deal-breaker, as they would rather spend their weekends riding than wrenching. Additionally, the bike's air-cooled engine can struggle in stop-and-go traffic, especially during hot weather, which further detracts from its practicality. Compounding these maintenance headaches is the bike's carbureted fueling system. While carburetors were standard during the V Star 1100's heyday, modern riders have come to appreciate the convenience and efficiency of fuel injection. Cold starts can be finicky, and the choke must be manually adjusted until the engine warms up. This old-school approach, while nostalgic to some, feels dated compared to contemporary fuel-injected cruisers. The carburetor also contributes to inconsistent throttle response, particularly in varying weather conditions, which can make the bike feel unpredictable at lower speeds. Another issue that detracts from the V Star 1100's appeal is its sheer weight. Tipping the scales at over 630 pounds, the bike feels heavy, especially when navigating tight parking spaces or performing slow-speed maneuvers. The bulky feel contrasts sharply with the more agile and lightweight midsize cruisers on the market today. Even on the open road where cruisers traditionally shine, the V Star 1100 falls short. The lack of a sixth gear means that highway speeds can leave the engine feeling a bit strained, with vibrations creeping into the handlebars and foot pegs. This can make long-distance cruising less comfortable than on other bikes in its class. Riders who take pride in doing their own maintenance might be further put off by the bike's oil filter placement, tucked in conveniently behind the exhaust pipes, making routine oil changes more complicated than necessary. When maintenance becomes a hassle, even a classic cruiser can lose its charm. Our next bike aimed for versatility but ended up stuck in a no-man's land. Number 5. Suzuki GSX-S 750. When Suzuki introduced the GSX-S 750, it aimed to combine the DNA of its legendary GSX-R series with everyday practicality. The concept was simple: a stripped-down sport bike that could serve as both a daily commuter and a spirited weekend machine. With aggressive lines, minimal bodywork, and an upright riding position, the bike presented itself as a versatile option for those who wanted sportiness, without the discomfort of a full-on supersport. The exposed engine components and muscular stance gave it a rugged, no-nonsense appeal, while Suzuki marketed it as an ideal balance between urban usability and canyon carving prowess. At the heart of the GSX-S 750 is a liquid-cooled inline-four engine with a displacement of 749 cubic centimeters. It delivers approximately 98 horsepower and 58 pound-feet of torque. This power plant is borrowed from the previous generation GSX-R 750, detuned for a more usable mid-range, making it well-suited for street riding. The engine is responsive and the power delivery feels linear, but it lacks the exhilarating rush that many expect from a sport-oriented machine. The bike tips the scales at around 462 pounds, which makes it manageable in traffic but slightly hefty for more spirited riding. The braking system consists of dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, providing sufficient stopping power. Suspension duties are handled by a conventional telescopic front fork and a rear monoshock, which offer decent damping but feel underwhelming when pushed hard through corners. Despite its sporty promise, the GSX-S 750 struggles to stand out in a crowded market. One of the primary issues is its generic styling. Unlike other naked bikes that boast bold, distinctive aesthetics, the GSX-S 750 appears somewhat conservative. The headlight design, while functional, lacks the aggressive flair seen on competitors like the Kawasaki Z900 or the Yamaha MT-09. Another downside is the lack of modern rider aids. In an age where traction control, adjustable riding modes, and quick shifters have become almost standard, the GSX-S 750 feels dated. The absence of these features becomes glaring, especially when comparing it to similarly priced competitors that offer more advanced electronics. While some riders may appreciate the raw, unfiltered experience, Many potential buyers are looking for a bit more sophistication, particularly at this price point. Comfort also becomes an issue on longer rides. The upright riding position, while comfortable for short commutes, lacks the ergonomic adjustments that many modern nakeds now offer. The seat itself is somewhat narrow and becomes uncomfortable after about an hour of continuous riding. Combined with a fairly stiff suspension setup, the GSX-S 750 does not shine on extended trips. Wind protection is minimal, which is typical for a naked bike, but the wind blast at highway speeds becomes tiresome, making long-distance journeys less than enjoyable. When it comes to performance, the bike is competent but not exceptional. It handles well enough for everyday use, but when pushed in more demanding scenarios, it feels less composed than rivals. The front end lacks the razor-sharp feedback that more performance-focused nakeds offer. This becomes noticeable when navigating tight corners or switching directions quickly. Riders who expect more spirited handling may find the GSX-S 750 somewhat lacking, particularly when lined up against the Yamaha MT-09's lively chassis or the Kawasaki Z900's punchy acceleration. Still here? Still not subscribed? We've told you more about these dealer nightmares than your local shop will admit. Show some love. Hit that button. Number 4. Suzuki Hayabusa. The Suzuki Hayabusa roared onto the scene as a hyperbike legend, instantly recognizable for its aerodynamic fairings and low-slung profile, meticulously designed to slice through the wind at breathtaking speeds. Marketed as the fastest production motorcycle in the world upon its debut, the Hayabusa quickly became a symbol of power and rebellion, dominating the conversation among speed enthusiasts. At the heart of the Hayabusa lies a liquid-cooled inline-4 engine with a displacement of 1,340 cubic centimeters, delivering an astonishing 187 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque. This powertrain allows the bike to reach over 180 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest machines on the road. The braking system consists of dual front discs with radial mount Brembo calipers and a single rear disc, providing ample stopping power to rein in the beast. The suspension setup features an inverted front fork and a link-type rear shock absorber, ensuring stability at high speeds while maintaining some comfort on smoother roads. Tipping the scales at 582 pounds, the Hayabusa manages to feel surprisingly stable at speed, but its heft becomes apparent during low-speed maneuvers and in tight urban environments. The Hayabusa's most impressive feature is its straight-line speed. Few production motorcycles can match its top-end acceleration, and the sensation of unleashing its full potential is described by many riders as borderline surreal. On open highways or track days, the Hayabusa truly shines, effortlessly blasting past other vehicles with its raw, unbridled power. Its smooth power delivery and refined handling make it an exhilarating ride when conditions allow for it. Enthusiasts praise the precise throttle response and the way the bike remains composed even at high velocities. However, outside the controlled environment of a track or deserted stretch of road, the bike's extraordinary power can become more of a liability than an asset. For everyday riding, the Hayabusa's aggressive ergonomics can make longer journeys uncomfortable. The forward-leaning position, designed to minimize wind resistance at high speeds, puts significant pressure on the wrists and lower back when cruising around town. While some riders may appreciate the committed riding posture, many find it impractical for commuting or leisurely rides. Additionally, the bike's considerable weight and length make navigating through city traffic feel cumbersome. Parking and performing U-turns can become awkward, especially for less experienced riders. The Hayabusa's thirst for performance also translates into higher maintenance demands and substantial running costs. Insurance premiums for this hyperbike are often exorbitant, reflecting the risk associated with its speed capabilities. Tire wear is another common issue, as high-speed runs and aggressive cornering quickly degrade the sport-specific rubber. Replacement tires can be costly, and the Hayabusa's high-output engine also requires premium brake fluid and regular valve adjustments to maintain peak performance. Owners quickly discover that keeping the Hayabusa in top condition is both time-consuming and expensive. Over the years, stricter emission regulations and evolving rider preferences have also impacted the Hayabusa's appeal. In the early 2020s, production ceased as Suzuki struggled to keep up with environmental standards, leaving dealers with leftover models. As a result, prices were slashed and sales tactics shifted towards bundling performance upgrades, like racing exhaust kits, carbon fiber accents, and extended warranties to attract buyers. Despite these efforts, many Hayabusas remained on showroom floors, as the bike's niche appeal limited its market. When speed turns into a burden, even legends can struggle to find a home. Next, a cruiser that couldn't quite balance heritage and modernity. Number 3. Yamaha Roadstar 1700. With a strong visual presence, classic lines, and a broad stance, it looked like a machine ready to take on the open road. The Roadstar's design combined retro appeal with a powerful profile, featuring wide handlebars, a large teardrop fuel tank, and a sculpted rear fender. This was a bike built to command attention while promising long-haul comfort for the rider. The heart of the Roadstar 1700 is an air-cooled 48-degree V-twin engine with a displacement of 1,670 cubic centimeters. It produces approximately 62 horsepower and 99 pound-feet of torque. This engine delivers ample low-end power, perfect for leisurely cruising at highway speeds. The bike features a dual front disc brake and a rear disc brake, adequate for straight-line stopping but lacking in more dynamic situations. The suspension setup includes a conventional telescopic front fork and a single-shock rear suspension, designed primarily for comfort rather than sport. Tipping the scales at nearly 700 pounds, the Roadstar 1700 feels stable on open highways, but becomes noticeably cumbersome in urban environments and slow-moving traffic. Yamaha intended the Roadstar 1700 to be a comfortable, no-nonsense touring bike, yet it quickly fell behind the curve as motorcycle technology advanced. One major drawback is its lack of modern safety features, most notably the absence of an anti-lock braking system. In an era when many touring cruisers are equipped with cutting-edge braking technology, another sticking point for potential buyers is the bike's handling. While the Roadstar 1700 excels on straight stretches of road, its substantial weight and lengthy wheelbase make tight turns and city maneuvering quite a challenge. The long rake angle, which contributes to its impressive highway stability, also makes it feel sluggish when weaving through traffic or negotiating tighter corners. As a result, many riders report that the bike feels ponderous, particularly when compared to more agile touring cruisers from other brands. The engine itself, despite delivering a respectable amount of torque, is hampered by outdated technology. The air-cooled configuration struggles to maintain optimal performance during prolonged rides in hot weather or dense traffic. Unlike more modern cruisers that feature liquid cooling to regulate temperature, the Roadstar can become uncomfortable to ride when conditions push the engine's limits. Furthermore, the bike's 5-speed transmission lacks the flexibility of a 6th gear, leaving the engine to work harder than necessary at higher speeds. Riders looking for a smooth, low-revving highway experience often feel that the Roadstar could benefit from an additional gear to reduce vibrations and enhance comfort on long rides. The instrumentation on the Roadstar 1700 remains purely analog, reinforcing the retro aesthetic but sacrificing modern functionality. As touring bikes began to incorporate more advanced digital displays and connectivity options, the Roadstar's basic gauge cluster seemed increasingly outdated. Riders accustomed to GPS integration, ride modes, or even simple fuel range indicators often find the bare-bones setup frustrating. This lack of innovation left the bike feeling stuck in the past, even as other touring models embraced technological upgrades. From heavyweight cruisers to machines that couldn't decide their purpose, our next model promised to be everything, but ended up being nothing. Number 2. Honda DN01. When Honda introduced the DN01, it aimed to redefine what a motorcycle could be. This model was marketed as the ultimate hybrid, blending the sporty dynamics of a performance bike with the relaxed ergonomics of a cruiser. The futuristic styling and streamlined bodywork made it look like something out of a sci-fi movie, while its automatic transmission promised a seamless riding experience. Honda envisioned the DN01 as a revolutionary machine that could bridge the gap between traditional motorcycles and more commuter-friendly scooters. Beneath the sculpted body, the DN01 features a liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a displacement of 680 cubic centimeters, producing around 61 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. The power delivery is smooth but lacks the punch expected from a bike with such bold aesthetics. At a curb weight of 595 pounds, it feels substantial but manageable in city settings. The braking system consists of dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, providing adequate stopping power, although the lack of an anti-lock braking system leaves some riders wanting more confidence during sudden stops. The suspension setup includes telescopic front forks and a rear single shock, which handle urban environments decently, but become less reliable on uneven roads. The DN01's most controversial feature is its continuously variable transmission, which eliminates traditional gear changes. While this was intended to appeal to both seasoned bikers and newcomers, it ended up satisfying neither. The throttle response feels muted, lacking the tactile engagement that many riders expect. Sport enthusiasts found the absence of manual shifting frustrating, while cruiser fans felt the bike's styling was too sleek and futuristic. The riding position is also an odd mix, neither aggressive nor particularly relaxed. With mid-mounted foot controls and a slightly forward-leaning handlebar setup, the bike never fully commits to any one style, leaving it stranded between sport bike agility and cruiser comfort. On paper, the DN01 seemed like a breakthrough, a motorcycle for everyone. But in practice it faced an identity crisis. Riders accustomed to manual gearboxes were disappointed by the automatic transmission, which, despite being advanced, lacked the visceral connection of a traditional clutch. At the same time, those drawn to the sleek lines and futuristic vibe found the ergonomics awkward and the performance underwhelming. This confusion led to a lack of enthusiasm among potential buyers, as they struggled to understand who the DN01 was truly made for. One of the DN01's biggest challenges was its hefty price tag. At around $15,000 when new, it competed with more established models that offered either better performance or more traditional cruiser appeal. Riders looking for a sporty feel gravitated towards bikes like the Yamaha V Star 900, which offered more traditional styling and a manual gearbox. Meanwhile, those interested in easy commuting preferred the Honda NC 750X, which featured a dual-clutch transmission that offered both manual and automatic modes, along with better comfort and fuel efficiency. This bike stands as a cautionary tale of trying to be everything at once and ending up being neither fish nor fowl. The DN01 remains an oddity in Honda's lineup, a bike that looked revolutionary but never truly found its audience. When a bike can't decide what it wants to be, buyers move on. Finally, the model that dealerships simply cannot move, no matter what they try. Number 1. Kawasaki Vulcan S. Drawing inspiration from the Ninja 650, the Vulcan S took a sporty parallel twin engine and placed it in a cruiser chassis, hoping to create the perfect blend of sport bike performance and cruiser comfort. Kawasaki marketed it as a bike that could be tailored to fit almost anyone, thanks to its ergonomic customization system, known as Ergo Fit. The concept was simple: offer adjustable handlebars, foot pegs, and a seat height that could be modified to accommodate riders of varying sizes. This made the Vulcan S one of the most adaptable cruisers on the market. Underneath its sleek modern design lies a liquid-cooled parallel twin engine with a displacement of 649 cubic centimeters. This engine produces approximately 61 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque. The power delivery is smooth and linear, providing consistent acceleration without overwhelming newer riders. The Vulcan S tips the scales at 498 pounds, making it relatively light for a cruiser, which adds to its maneuverability. The braking system consists of a single front disc brake and a single rear disc brake, both equipped with an anti-lock braking system in most models, offering a reassuring level of stopping power. The suspension setup includes a telescopic front fork and a rear monoshock, providing a decent balance between comfort and control on city roads and light touring. Despite its practicality, the Vulcan S struggles to make a strong impression among cruiser enthusiasts. Its biggest flaw is the lack of the deep rumbling exhaust note that cruiser fans crave. The parallel twin configuration does not produce the signature V-twin thump that Harley-Davidson riders in particular associate with a cruiser experience. Instead, the Vulcan S delivers a more refined and almost sterile engine sound, which feels out of place in a segment known for its rugged, visceral appeal. Moreover, the bike's design, while modern and stylish, lacks the classic cruiser aesthetic that many traditionalists look for. Another point of contention is the engine's character. While the smooth power delivery works for commuting and casual rides, it lacks the raw torque and aggressive feel that some expect from a cruiser. The Vulcan S feels more like a sporty commuter wrapped in cruiser styling rather than a dedicated cruiser. For those accustomed to the punchy torque of a traditional V-twin, the Vulcan S can feel underwhelming and too refined. This duality makes it challenging to market effectively, as it neither fully satisfies the cruiser crowd nor appeals entirely to sport bike enthusiasts. The Vulcan S also faces competition from models that lean more firmly into the cruiser identity. For instance, the Honda Rebel 500 offers a genuine cruiser feel, with its V-twin engine and compact design making it a popular choice among beginner and intermediate riders. Additionally, used Harley-Davidson Sportster models provide a more authentic cruiser experience, complete with the iconic rumble and extensive aftermarket support. These bikes appeal to those looking for that unmistakable cruiser character, something the Vulcan S struggles to deliver. Pricing for the Vulcan S typically starts around $7,500, depending on the trim and accessories. While this makes it accessible, many potential buyers find themselves drawn to alternatives that offer either a more traditional cruiser experience or a more exciting sport bike performance. Customization options, while a selling point, do not entirely compensate for the bike's perceived lack of identity. Riders who appreciate the adjustability often still find the overall feel of the bike lacking in personality compared to more dedicated cruiser models. That's the list. If any of these bikes surprised you, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and let us know in the comments which one you'd take home. Thanks for watching, ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.